we are down to our final element, the footer. So let's go ahead and target the footer and add some style. So we'll scroll to the bottom, and here's our footer. Okay, so let's go ahead and just use footer, the actual tag element, as our selector. So we will footer, then we'll add our curly braces, and let's set our width. We're going to try something a little different here. This will sort of be our segue into working with units of measure in another series. So let's try 100%. Now you may already be doing this in your exercise. Excellent. Okay, I've pretty much been working with absolute units of measure, in this case pixels. Now we're going to throw a relative unit of measure, and this is 100%, because this could be 100% of whatever it's allowed to be. Okay, so right now the 100% that we're calling out will be 100% of it should be of the web browser. Okay, because the footer is not inside the main element. The main element ends, and that one was set to 500. So if we tell this one to be 100%, it should pretty much stretch all the way across the browser screen. So we'll set a width. I'm going to force a height. Instead of using a height based on whatever the content is, let's just force a height. And I'm going to go with 50 pixels. And let's go ahead and I'm going to leave the default font inside. Let's set a font size, and I'll go with 12 pixels. And then what else? Let's go ahead and set our line height. Oh, before we do that, let's do text align. We're going to center our type inside of our footer horizontally. Now let's do line height. And we will match the height of the footer with our line height, so 50 px, and this should center our type vertically now. And let's go ahead and set a background color. And my background color, let's go with, kind of go with a dark gray right here. So we'll copy that to the clipboard. Paste this in. And now let's set the color for our type. So we'll do color, and we're going to set this to white just to keep it simple. So let's go with $FF for white, and we will save. And let's take a look at what we have so far. So we'll scroll down, and there's our footer. Okay, now I believe we had on the body of the document, let's just go back and check here. But if we go all the way up to the top and we look at the bottom, we've added 100 pixels of margin all the way around. So that's why we have this space here, and this space down here also. Okay. Now I see some type hanging out down here instead of in one long line. I don't recall. Maybe I used a BR tag there. So let's go back, and I'm not seeing that. Oh yes, I have a BR tag right here. Now, I'm going to remove the BR tag, and I asked you not to remove your structural elements from exercise 2, I am in HTML. But you might want to introduce that element somewhere else so you stay with the required count if you run into a situation like this where it would just look nicer if we had the type all on one line. So let's go back, reload, and now our footer text is all on one line. Now remember, you could go in and add spans if you wanted to maybe change the font size, the font family, a color, whatever. You could add a span, you could add another structural element, that would be okay. That'd be perfectly fine. All right, so in our next video, which should be our next and our last freestyle for exercise 3, I am in CSS, okay, what we'll do is we will validate our code just to make sure that we have not made any errors.